Hi guys, and welcome back to Beinkamp Draws. Today I want to leave the iPad for a while and get more organic, so to speak. It must come as no surprise for any regular followers of mine or those who has come all the way from my Instagram that I really love to draw dragons. And I would like to take you through like a little step-by-step character design on how I develop my dragons. And actually this process can kind of go for any kind of character process design that you might go for. But for me, it always starts with the face. So if we take like a basic shape of the face, which I start with a circle, and then I sort of try to plot in where the eyes of my character will be. And well, most of you probably agree and realize that the eyes can really be the determining character of a face. Usually when I draw like funny characters, I like to give them sort of a little, I don't really know what you would call this right here, but I think it's sort of, does something funny to the shape of the head. I think it's a very Disney character. Maybe you put a little hair on it like that to give it some extra character. This guy is not gonna have like very cutesy eyes, but more like a surprised, disturbed face like that. And then I really like it when dragons has sort of like a beak. It looks kind of bird-like, and then maybe some flared nostrils like that. Maybe to emphasize the beak, we make a line right here, like so. And then maybe his cheeks goes all the way down here. So now something is really starting to happen with this character. Maybe he has like a little bit of a double chin going on, and maybe some floppy ears that goes down right here. Maybe he has horns. Actually, when you turn the horns this way, it sort of looks more like a goat, but I don't mind it when you give your dragons a bit animalistic traits. It sort of makes it look more real if you can take it some inspiration from an animal. Or at least that's my opinion. So here we have kind of like a goat looking dragon. I did not decide on this before entering into this process. Usually when I design new characters, I just put my pen to paper and see where it goes. But let's try to work with something maybe a little more lizard-like. So we start with a round shape again. I really do like the big eyes. Let's do it like in profile maybe this time. And we still like working with the sort of beak and the flared nostrils. Maybe we use some of the shape like before, but try and change it up a little bit to see what we can do. Now he doesn't have these goat horns anymore, but more like a curled horn. And a little mouth like that. Maybe he has some of the classical dragon features of, what would we call that? The mane. Maybe to emphasize a bit of surprise, he has his eyebrows up there. Maybe some smaller ears, like that. So now maybe if I go like this, we have another kind of character design but still with the same outline. What about maybe we try to work with this face a bit more. I like that more than like the goat dragon. I think this is a bit more classic. So when I find a design that I like, usually it takes a little bit longer than this, but I quite like this one. We can sort of try and see what we can do with the different like expressions and stuff. So this is a bit more head on. Maybe this time we give him a little smile. Hope my camera is good enough for you guys. I'm just using my phone. Maybe he has a little bit of texture here on the top of his head. So see, I'm not really too settled on a design yet. Like I'm kind of taking this and working with it, but still adding some features, like for example these things on his head. Kind of like the ears though. And then we have to remember when he's head on like this, that his chin is a bit more. I'm not too worried about like having loose strokes, because as I said before, this is kind of the initial phase where everything goes, right? I think he's kind of cool, this character. So now we could you know, do more character designs on the face, with like maybe working with him being angry. So maybe we still want to keep like the roundness of his head like this, and the cute ears. But you could work with different expressions like that. But like for the sake of this video, I think that I will take it to the whole shape level. But I'm actually quite happy about this design. He has kind of like a spiral look to him, and who doesn't love that little guy? So now we take out like the head and try to figure out, okay, how does his body look like? So if we just make like a fairly loose shape of the head right here, I think you can already tell on the head that he's a little bit of a scrawny fella. So maybe he's quite skinny. I think maybe we could work with like a little bit of a cat or like a dog pose. Or maybe actually this is more like a rabbit, but as I said before, I think it's beneficial to go into the animal kingdom and look at how that works, because even though this is like a fantasy creature, it's nice to have some sense of familiarity. So, but let's just keep it simple. We take his leg down here instead. I was trying maybe to do a paw like that. Let's just stay right here. He has his wings, just very classical. And as you can see, I keep it so loose because I'm gonna refine it later on. Remember, he has quite big, curious eyes. And the little semi-horns on his forehead here. And then the curly horns. I kind of like this this rabbit look to him. Sometimes I think it's nice to, you know, when you find a body shape that you like, maybe you can try and make like miniature drawings of that body that shows how it functions. So if we say that we have a drawing here very loosely of him running, see it's almost like a hair with the leg here, and then his front legs are back here. His tail is sort of going. But you can see I'm not really making any major details. I'm just making sort of miniature paintings of how it would go. Maybe we have him sitting here. We imagine that this is sort of like his feet. His hands are down here. His tail's up here, so he's sort of like sitting on the ground like that. This is super loose, but I'm just trying to get a sense of how he would move. What could we do else? Like he could be flying. So now we sort of have to picture him in the air, floating a little bit. Maybe he's looking in this direction. So we have the wings right there, and then the tail flowing like so. So maybe you're kind of catching my point, that I'm just having fun with it. And the thing is, the reason that I keep it so loose on this stage is because I don't really know my character that well yet. So it's totally expected that I'm not going to be able to make like the best designs on this level. So in order to motivate myself not to be run down by the failure of not being able to produce a perfect body drawing of this dragon, I keep it loose, because then it doesn't really matter if I don't get it, because I'm getting to know him in a way. So yeah, I think he has like a pretty good shape to him. I think he seems like a little bit clumsy maybe. It fits well with how his body is working. Like maybe his feet are a bit too big for him, maybe they're getting in the way. It can be nice to sort of investigate how your character is actually using his whole body in terms of what his personality is like. Maybe this is just me being influenced by the fact that when I was studying literature, I was studying imaginary world building and how you create credible characters and worlds and how you make it function even though it's fiction. So somehow I can't really help myself in trying to incorporate everything that makes the character believable. So you have to carry that with you when you design the character. If you want him to be a certain personality, it has to be reflected not only in his facial expression, but also in the way that he uses his body. So yeah, this is how I start out a very simple character design, finding a face first and then working with the body later. Maybe I'll take this little feller onto my iPad and try to make a more specific character design. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this little doodling video. If you want more like this, you just let me know. And yeah, thank you for watching, and if you like it, give a like and subscribe. Bye!